that we spoke on this, it was definitely befitting, and it was able to help us with our conversation and our with our sales. So I just want to kind of revisit that a little bit because I was still listening to calls, and I was still hearing a lot of the salesy type pitches. Okay. And I understand that a lot of us come from different sales backgrounds. So there were certain things that certain ways that we have to sell, right? Certain products require that you can sell, use different techniques, I guess, to do so. I've always been in my sales career, I've always been more or less the conversational um, type of sales guy. But I learned that. That was a learned behavior. It wasn't anything that I knew right off the bat. So right off the bat, I did what I saw other salespeople do, which is try to rush through conversations, was try to out talk the the client or the prospect on the other line or the other end of the phone. I felt like if I could sound the most knowledgeable, and I can talk the most in these appointments, that I would get the sale. Okay, it seemed like I felt like the faster I could get through that presentation, the better off I was. Okay, and what I learned was that really I was just nervous. I was nervous. And then the question became, what was I actually nervous about? Right? What was I nervous about? I was nervous, like most salespeople and most people in our profession, especially in our beginning stages of sales or early on, and maybe not being the most advance in our in our selling, and in our pursuing a sales career. One of the things that we are often afraid of the most is rejection. Okay, so the underlying subliminal fear is the fear of rejection. So what we do is, as a defense mechanism, what we do is we try to hurry up and crash, do like a crash course almost, and you know, uh, we want to bombard them all the way with what we have to say, so they won't say no. We want to hurry up and get it in there before they say no. And what happens is it sounds all jumbled together because of that. So when you're having a conversation, this is all mindset, by the way. Getting rid of that fear, getting rid of the fear of rejection, and not feeling like uh, that you're interrupting them, and you feeling like that you're helping them. This is the mindset that I want all of us to start converting to. So I'm not interrupting you. I understand you. I may be interrupting what you're doing at this moment, but listen, you really want to talk with me. This is really important, okay? You guys are compliance agents. Your compliance agent, okay? They need to speak with you. They need to speak with you. So your mindset should not be worried or focused on rejection. So just relax, is all I'm saying. Relax. And in the same tone that you see me speaking in right now, is the same tone that you want to have when you're speaking with your clients. See, this is a mindset shift. This is a mindset shift. Okay. We have to immediately take a deep breath and shift our mindset when we're making cold calls. Okay. Because cold calls, we need to think that these are just conversations. These are not interruptions. You've got some information for them that they really need to hear. Okay. You're not calling because you want to sell them something. Okay. Listen, when you get to the point of not caring whether they buy or not from you, that's when you become more advanced salesperson. Most of the time, you're caring whether or not they say yes or no. Stop caring about that. Stop letting that be a focal point for you going into these calls, whether or not they say yes or no. Okay. Just be prepared for rejection, be prepared for objection, be prepared to recover and use rebuttals. Just be prepared. You know, a couple of things that they're going to say. Listen, I don't have time for this. Okay. I'm not interested. Okay. Or, send me some information. Right. That's not, send me some information is not even rejection, but I don't have time for this. Or I'm not interested. It's going to be your main two. Okay. And you have to be prepared to overcome those objections. Okay. I totally understand that I totally completely understand, which is why I'm going to keep this conversation quick so you can get back to your work. Okay. But it's really important that we discuss your compliance or your benefit package that you currently already have. There may be some penalties that you could be facing if your package is not completely set up right. Okay, so just having that conversation with them and getting through the door is what you really want to be focused on. So think about it this way: you are an advisor. You're calling here to advise them. You're not trying to force yourself. You're not trying to sell anything. They don't have to pull out their pocketbook. They don't have to qualify with credit or anything like that. They don't need any lump sums of cash. They don't need to get approved. No underwriting, nothing like that. You're an advisor. So once you shift your mindset to knowing that and believing that and stop thinking that you're a salesperson and you keep looking at the commission because you want that sale, stop looking at that. Take your eye off to the sales. Take your eye off the commission and put your focus on being an advisor to this company, because this company may be facing some penalties down the road that they don't foresee. And your job as a compliance agent is to make sure that their wellness plan is compliant so they don't experience any penalties down the road. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today, okay? And I'm going to let G kind of tell you about some things so we can address that. But the goal of each call is to start a relationship. This is about rapport building, okay? It's to start a relationship, okay? And you want to uncover the needs of that relationship and then book a conversation. That's it. Start a relationship. You're just talking to them. You're just people. They're people just like you and I. That's it. They just have a title. They just got a title at their company. Okay. I was told, today that a lot of companies right now, which is promising, that a lot of companies right now are looking to updating their wellness programs. So we're actually calling at the right time, and we're speaking to these people at the right time. Why? Because they're going into the 2026 enrollment season. Okay, so right now you're being an advisor. You want to start that relationship and start uncovering the needs of exactly what their company is looking to accomplish it from, whether it be from a saving standpoint, from an enhanced benefit standpoint, whether they may be having retention issues, they're trying to scale. You want to uncover those needs. And by you being that advisor, that means that you are, asking these open-ended questions in order to uncover those needs. Okay, so you don't want to be too pushy. You don't want to be talking more than you're listening. You don't want to use technical jargon or anything like that. And you also just don't want to be forgetting to relate to the customer's needs. Okay. You want to make sure that you're relating to the customer needs. All right. You want to make sure you're framing these calls by letting them know, hey, Mr. Customer and Gerald, I'm not calling you to sell you anything today. So I want to start there. Okay. I'm calling to see if I can help solve a problem that you may already be dealing with that you may not be aware of. Okay. I was assigned to your business just to do a quick compliance outreach. So I'm really wanting to uh, speak to your team, or unless that's you, uh, who oversees your payroll and employee benefits and just your financial compliance. Okay? Because we work with businesses like yours to help you stay compliant with IRS codes like the 125 and 213. But most important, we're helping to translate some of those compliance into some real financial savings for you. So I'm not here to sell you anything, but I'm here to help solve uh, a possible issue that you can be having sometime in the future. Okay. So, these things like that, these conversation pieces is kind of what you want to start, practicing. Okay. You want to start practicing just simple hellos and simple, you know, call building practices or relationship building practices because you are trying to establish a rapport. All right. So look for reasons to establish a rapport. One of the things that I was doing on some of the calls is I was taking notice of the gatekeepers, making sure I keep their name. I'm also looking at the website. I want to know about the actual company first. Okay. So, this is before you actually make those calls. You want to make sure that you are prepared for that call. Okay. You want to make sure that you are prepared for that call because you need to use some of the things that you prepare for, like such as knowing the gatekeeper's name, knowing a little bit about the industry, and knowing about some of the things that they do at that company because it gives you a great opening and conversation piece. So you want to research this prospect before you even speak with them. You want to research the industry. You want to know about the size of the company, common compliance issues that they may have. Okay. So like a construction company, construction firms often miss OSHA related compliance write-offs. So they deal with things like that with OSHA, right? So you've been a compliance officer, you can help with some of the write-offs on the wellness benefits. I hear Malik talk about this all the time with the big, beautiful bill that was passed under President Trump and how it is affecting the rural hospitals and some of these non-for-profit organizations, right? So this is a great opportunity to show them how they can offset some of the costs that they are experiencing, some of the loss that for some of the loss that they're experiencing. So you want to make sure that when you're pre-framing, that you have, your notes together. You want to have at least one or two sentences explaining why you're calling, okay? And this is why we give you the notes and give you the different uh what do you call it, like the notes, the different uh, things that we do, like how to break the ice and introduce yourself, just the different formats, okay? And the flyers that would have all of the transitional statements. I just put some inside of the group again. All right. So the handout, that's the word I'm looking for. Thanks. Sorry, y'all didn't help me with my word. I was having a brain freeze. The handouts. So we give you the different handouts so you can study those things. So you see the handout in there. This gives you the different sentences on why you're calling, some of the transitional bridge statements that you want to practice on, and you want to make sure you have a clear call goal. What's the goal? All right. The goal is the only goal that you have is to secure the appointment. is to secure the appointment. And we've been doing a pretty good job with securing appointments lately. Kudos to everybody that's been putting appointments on the board. We're starting to get that action that we've been looking for and that we've been speaking of. We're having all type of conversations daily. We had a great meeting today, just making sure that just making sure that the way that our program is set up, G2 Global Network is probably one of the, I don't know, I hate, I hate to be a little arrogant about this, but I think that we might be one of the top companies that is actually operating in compliance. I hope I dare not to say that we're the only company, because a lot of companies out there that's practicing this or selling this program, and companies that's in it, they may not be all the way compliant, but we are. So I'm glad to say that we are, and you should feel good about that as well. That when you're speaking with the clients, you can let them know that we're fully compliant with IRS, we're fully compliant with IRS codes 105, 106, and 213. And, we're fully compliant with the ACA. We're fully compliant. Okay. So we want to make sure that you share that. The transitional statements is just really practicing that conversational connectors. You want to make sure that you have your, you know, your connectors, like whether you're complimenting, the gatekeeper or the company, you sharing experiences with simple questions. You want to make this conversation about them. Ask what they do, what they need, right? You want to be brief, okay? You want to be brief with them. Once again, you don't want to be pushy. You don't want to talk too much. You don't want to use all this technical jargon. You want to be really, really brief and get straight to the point. I was assigned to your business for a quick compliance outreach. I'm looking to speak with the person who oversees the payroll. That's you talking to the gatekeeper. All right. But your voice reflection, and if you notice, I'm doing this whole call with the voice reflection that I want you to have when you're on the call. This is called voice reflection. I don't know if it was anyone ever in my training when we talked about voice reflection. Anybody on this call? It's a long time ago. Anybody was in this call? We talked about voice reflection.
I
You was?
remember it.
Remember that call? Yeah. This is where all of this comes to play at now, right? It's voice reflection. All right. So it's really important. I'm telling you, it's really important because there's a huge difference between you getting on the phone in this monotone voice, all right? You're like this, right? Opposed to you being elevated. Hey, this is Damien. I'm with G2 Global Network. How are you doing today? Elevated. Opposed to saying, hey, this is Damien. I'm with G2 Global Network. How are you doing today? You said the same thing, but you just said it with two different voice reflections. One voice reflection says sales guy. The other voice reflection says, I wonder who this is and what do they want. Y'all agree? Y'all agree with that?
Yeah.
It's a big
Yeah.
difference. Big difference. And that's what you have to practice. That's what we have to practice. Okay. So, you know, know who you're calling and why before you even call. When you're on the phone and you have that information in front of you, know who you're calling and why you're calling them. Make sure you have a strong opener ready. Okay, so they're gonna put you on the phone with someone. You're gonna talk to the gatekeeper initially. What is your plan with the gatekeeper? I know right off the bat when I get on the phone with the gatekeeper, I'm gonna say something like, "Hey, Siobhan, how are you? Listen, this is Mo. I'm with G2 Global Network. I was wondering if you could help me out here because I need to speak with the person that's in charge of your payroll and employee benefits. There, I was assigned to your company through GT Global Network. I'm a global compliance agent. I have Nelson in my system as being your contact person. I'm not sure, is that the right person? So when doing that, they already know that I've got some information in front of me. So I've got to have some sense of legitimacy. Okay. So when doing that, they get to say, no, that's not the right person. You need to speak with Julian, like the lady told me the other day. No, you need to speak with Julian. She's the right person. Okay. Oh, excellent. Thanks. Julian gets on the phone. Okay. Julian gets on the phone. And you want to make sure that that you're very courteous to Julian. Hey, Julian, how are you? I know that you were busy. I was just speaking with Siobhan there. Man, by the way, before I get started, Siobhan is she's extremely polite. It was refreshing to hear someone uh, be such professional with all of the people that I talk with there every day. I'm telling you, Damon, you would be surprised. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, no problem, no problem. Listen, Damien, I appreciate you taking my call and picking up. I'll be really direct and brief with you. Definitely want to respect your time. Um, my name is Mo. I'm with G2 Global Network. I'm a compliance agent. And I was assigned to your business because your company is actually, may qualify for an IRS compliance strategy that helps reduce the payroll liabilities that you have, and it will also help your employees get some additional coverage. And all this is at no additional cost to you. How familiar are you with IRS compliant wellness tax strategies or plans? Okay. But that's just one opening. There's different openings. There's different openings. Okay. So, you want to make sure that you have a couple of different openings ready and have your focus is one thing. What is it? To set the appointment. Okay. To set the appointment. You want to make sure that that is your goal, to set the appointment. Okay. So, yes, we typically do like a 15-minute compliance and savings type, call. We can calculate your company's projected tax savings and show you how the Wellness Plus program fits into your current benefit strategy without disrupting anything that you actually have in place. Um, Damien, are you open Thursday around 3 or 4? When we can actually discuss your savings, and I can show you some things maybe in black and white. So, these are once again the engaging and just being conversational and not being salesy is what's going to get you further. And as you're on the conversation and you're on that call, you have to remember this in your mind, that you don't switch back over to being in sales mode. Just talk to the people. Okay. You want to remove the suspicion of why you're calling in the first place. That's the job. Your job is removing the suspicion of why you're calling them in the first place. They don't know you. And they're on guard for who? They're on guard for salespeople. They're not on guard for compliance agents. Okay. They're on guard for salespeople. They don't want to be sold, right? They don't want to be sold. So pre-framing works because it removes the suspicion. Okay. And also because you've done some homework, you've done a little homework on the company. You can attest to the professionalism of the gatekeeper, or you connected some type of way in the beginning stages of the conversation. It sets the tone of honesty and it sets the tone of professionalism. Whatever you do, you just can't be like the other people that's making these cold calls. They're calling because they're untrained. No one is training them how to talk like this. They're giving them jobs and saying, okay, now go get them. but they're not spending time training them. You guys are being trained in sales. Okay, you're being trained in sales. This is professional sales training that you're getting. So you're learning this stuff, but these other people that's out there are not learning this. So it gives you a step above a lot of those people. So it sets a tone of honesty and professionalism, and also creates clarity. They know what your intent is. That's all they want to know. They want to know what your intent is in the beginning. Are you calling to tell me anything? Listen, before we start, no, I'm not. I'm not here to, I told the person, I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm sure you probably get a lot of calls about that. No, absolutely. They say, yeah, I do. Yeah, I get it. That's why I'm going to be real quick so you can get back to work here. I'm calling because I'm a compliance agent with G2 Global Network, and I was assigned to your account. And I made a joke about it. This is what I get. This is why I make the millions and millions and millions of dollars to call you. They laughed and found it funny. This is why I make the big bucks to call you to let you know about the compliance of your wellness program. So you got about 15 minutes or 10 to 15 minutes. So just being human is key. Being human, crack a joke. Don't be too it's not a comedy show or anything like that. All right. But just crack a joke just so you want to break the ice. If you can get them laughing, that was key. All right. That's how I got my girlfriends when I was a kid, younger. I got them laughing. Once I got them laughing, that was over with. Look at me brag. All right. So here's some pre-frame openers. So hi, this is Mo. I'm with G2 Global Network. Hopefully you guys are doing. Hoping you're doing okay. I'm gonna be very quick here. I know you're busy. But Damien, I'm helping companies like yours actually uncover some of these compliance tax savings, all along while reducing some of the exposure that you guys are having, right? I wanted to see if you had a quick meeting, if a quick meeting would make sense to explore how this wellness program and this program actually applies to your business. Okay. Or, Damon, the reason for my call is simple. It's simple. Companies in your industry, and I've been speaking with a lot of people in the restaurant industry this week alone. Oh my God, you'll be surprised. Um, is often missing out on some IRS qualified compliance credits that a lot of companies and people just don't know that's available to them. And I wanted to connect to see if you're taking advantage of those credits. I don't see in my system here that you guys actually took took part of that at all, but I wanted to make sure that my notes are accurate. Has anyone talked to you or spoken to you about doing a compliance check with your wellness program, just making sure that it is compliant? Well, things like that. Okay, so you're smoothly guiding the prospect from one part of the call to the next. It's a smooth transition. It's not harsh. It's all smooth, but you have to have, your transitional, what you're going to say statements and their opening, and you have to know what you're speaking of. Okay, so you want to transfer from the intro to value proposition. That's where you're headed. You're trying to get from the intro to your value proposition. All right. So listen, Dan, this is exactly why I reached out to you today. Okay, that's a transitional statement from objection to reassurance. I completely understand, Damien. Um, I this is I completely understand about you being a little skeptical of this. This is why many of our clients decide to at least take a look at this program. And then I tell a little story. Hey, listen, I had a lady not too long ago just comment on my LinkedIn page and said, this IRS 125 program is a hidden gem. Most companies don't know or feel like they can't qualify for it, or they think it's just too good to be true. So I totally get it. This is a consensus with a lot of people, which is why we like to give you everything. in writing in black and white, so you can rest assured that everything that we discuss with you is legal and legitimate, and it supports all IRS codes and is compliant with all those codes. So from discovery to appointment, based on what you shared, the next logical step is a quick 20-minute call where we can run a compliance savings analysis. Okay? Based on what you shared, Damien, the next logical step for us is to do a 20-minute compliance call and call with you where we can run a compliance check, get you some real numbers, and just to check to make sure that you are officially in the program and you're being compliant with the program. So let's set up 20 minutes to the side to do that this week. So just the conversational framing, ask instead of telling. Ask instead of telling. People resist being told, okay? They don't like to be told anything. Ask, all right? I'm curious, how are you currently handling compliance audits? All right? What's been your biggest challenges keeping compliance costs down? Okay? If you can change one thing about your compliance process, what would it be? So these are statements that you want to make sure that you have in your verbal repertoire, in your mental repertoire. I'm curious how you're currently handling compliance audits. What are you guys doing about that? That's a good one. See, when you're going in from a compliance standpoint and the angle that you're going in from a compliance standpoint is very, very powerful. Okay. The last thing a company wants to feel like is that they're doing something that they're not compliant in. Right. Well, here's the deal, Damien. And I'm not saying that your company has not set up right. We want to definitely check to make sure that your current wellness program is compliant. Here's the reason why. Um, Part of the compliance program, or part of the wellness program, is that your employees should be utilizing these benefits and the different supplemental coverages that you're offering on a monthly basis, on a regular basis. I don't know how you guys are justifying your books, uh, if you're even enforcing that they use the program, because at the end of the day, if the savings that you guys earned or accumulated by way of this program is not being used for what it was intended for from your employee standpoint, they should be using it toward benefits. If it's not being used, then you've got cash coming in that's now taxable income. And that could come back to hurt you in the end. And this is why I'm here today as a compliance agent, just to make sure that you guys are set up properly, make sure you got some audit protection, and also to make sure that you get some additional coverage for your employees that's at no net cost. Okay. So, this is your conversation, and you guys see how I'm speaking. Exactly how I'm talking, how I'm speaking is how you should be speaking to them. Use your commas, your periods, and stop when it's time to stop. Don't rush in the conversation. When it's time to pause, when you're speaking, pause. Give them time to give indicators. You guys, there's in sales, there's something what's called indicators. Anybody know what indicators are in the sales conversation?
What is it, like bullets?
When you're talking, when you're selling someone and you're presenting, all clients give what's called indicators. Okay.
Buying signals.
Thank you. Buying signals. Okay. Buying signals. You want buying signals. You want things like, oh, okay, great. All right. You know, oh, that's wonderful. Oh, I like that. I love that. These are buying signals, indicators. right? So that's what you're looking for. When they start giving you those indicators, that's what's going to help you control and guide the conversation. It's going to build your rapport. It's going to help you to uncover, these prospects' pains. When you opening up this dialogue with them, it's going to make you sound like you're an advisor and you're not a salesperson. That's the biggest thing. And that's why I keep having this call, because I don't want you sounding like a salesperson. You're not selling anything. What are you selling? Why are you guys selling like salesperson? You're not selling anything. These people, you want to make sure that your clients are compliant. You're a compliance agent that gets paid a ton of money to get these people compliant. That's what you are. Okay. And so your mindset shift has to shift to that. So what's the golden rule? The golden rule is simple. Never leave the call without suggesting a time commitment. That's the appointment. And I don't even want you to suggest a time commitment. I want you to state a time commitment on what's open. Okay. Hey, Damien, why don't we go ahead and block 20 minutes out next week for a compliance savings review, compliance call? I'm open on next Tuesday at 3 and probably Wednesday at 1 o'clock. Which one of those days work best for you? See, I just boxed them into a time without asking for their permission. Okay. And they come back saying, neither one of those dates are good. Let me look at my calendar. Okay. How about Thursday or Friday? Give me another option. Okay. See, now you're playing the calendar game. How about Thursday or Friday? I could possibly do Friday, according to my calendar, maybe at 4. Would that work for you? Okay. So why does this work? Because clarity removes vagueness. It shows respect for their time. Okay. Shows that also that you have respect for your time. Okay. It positions you as a professional, and it also shows the clients that you are prepared. The nature of this training call today is simple. Stop sounding like a salesperson. You're not a salesperson. Okay. Be prepared to handle objections when they come. You should know the common pushbacks in the beginning. I don't have time. Or we have someone already handling that. Send some information. I said those 3 things earlier, right? Okay. I don't have time. We already have someone handling that. Okay. So then you have your responses. Empathy versus alignment. I get that. Oh, I get that. Most of our clients feel the same way at first. I understand. And that's exactly why they took a short call. Okay, to confirm if savings were being left on the table. This is the value. Why don't we spend 15 minutes just to see if this applies? If not, it's no harm done. I don't have time for that. I 100% get it. So I hated to call you around this time, but I had to get this off of my books and make sure that I'm, just doing my job, make sure that you guys are compliant. But I'm going to make this very quick, okay, so you can get back to work. This is not going to take long at all. Okay. We already have someone working on that, handling that. Oh, perfect, perfect. Listen, most companies that we work with actually have a whole team that's dedicated to their wellness and their benefit program. Here's the issue that this particular tax strategy was not a heavily populated strategy or heavily promoted strategy. So just a lot of companies don't even know that these are additional section codes actually exist. Okay, these tax codes actually exist for you. So that's why we're calling. I'm not, listen, if you're already working with someone for your benefit, definitely continue to keep working with them. We don't want you to switch up. That's not why I'm here. I'm not here to sell you insurance. I just want to make sure the way that you have your package set up, that it is compliant and that you're not going to have any issues down the line. Okay. And we're going to give you some additional coverage on top of that, at no cost. This was hidden inside of a bill some time ago. So a lot of people don't know that it actually exists. It wasn't heavily promoted. That's all. Okay, so you know, so why does this approach work? So reps who reframe calls as conversations, you're going to see about a 30 to 40% higher appointment conversion rate. You're lowering the guards of the people and making them comfortable. Your conversion rate is going to increase. You'll see about a 30 to 40% higher conversion ratio. 70% of buyers accept cold calls when reps explain a clear reason for the call upfront. 70%. 70% of buyers accept cold calls when you explain the reason for that call upfront. That's a high ratio. Okay? They don't want to feel like you're throwing something at them, you catching them off guard. They was involved with something that was extremely important. And here you go, calling me, trying to sell me something. I am not interested. I didn't have to pick up this call, but yet, if I call you to tell you about a possibility of you guys, overspending $2 million or $100,000 overspending that your company is doing, that's different. I'm here to discuss a possible issue that you guys might be having that you don't know. So that's a different feel. Okay. So using pre-framing tactics reduce rejection by 20 to 25%. Using pre-framing tactics reduce rejection by 20 to 25%. Now, 57% of C-suite buyers prefer calls framed around insight and why it matters to them. So if you're going to call and speak to these decision makers, that you want to make sure that your call is going to be centered around what's important to them. And I tell you this, putting money back into the company's bottom line is important to them. Having additional coverage for their employees and making sure their employees stay healthy and have a great package, that's important for them. Increasing their retention rate by 18 or 20%, if you can do that, that's important for them. And so when you're calling, just have that conversation piece already in mind. Okay, does that make sense? Just have it already in mind and have it ready to discuss. Okay, just be ready to discuss it. Okay, so 20 to 25% of the tactics, using pre-framing tactics reduce rejection by 20 to 25%. That's a high number. That's a high number. Okay. So here's a quick guide for you. Why are you calling? To reduce compliance risk? This is the reason why. This is what you have to know. This is what your mindset has to be centered around. Why are you calling? I'm calling to reduce compliance risk. I'm calling to uncover hidden tax savings. Okay. I'm calling you to provide a peace of mind for you with audits. Okay. That's why you're calling. Okay. That's why you're calling. You want to let them know about things that you've done for companies like theirs. All right. Your job is simple: to secure the appointment. Speak as an advisor, not as a seller. Every call is an opportunity, not an interruption. That's the mindset. This is a mindset training. All mindset. If you go into a call thinking that this is a sales call and they can reject, and you're trying to protect yourself and you're going through that call initially like that in the beginning, that's exactly what's going to happen. Opposed to you going in through the gate, through that call and say, hey, listen, I'm giving these people a call. They need to hear from me. Okay? They need to hear from me. I understand you're not busy. I understand you're busy right now. What's a better time for us to call? We need to go over your numbers. Okay. There's some possible issues that you are possibly facing down the line if we don't do a compliance check with you. That's your position. Stop sounding like a salesperson. You're not there to sell them anything. Don't call in and talk to them about the benefit package and everything that you got for them and everything. You want to share that stuff with them, but not through the gate, not throughout, not in the right in the beginning. Right in the beginning, remember you're calling there to be a advisor to them about what's going on and what it is that they don't see. Cold calls aren't about scripts. It's not about scripts. It's all about connection. That's what it's about. And it's also all about you getting the right to move the conversation forward. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for the right to move the conversation forward. Okay. So when you reframe them as conversation, you're going to build that trust up. You're going to open up some doors and create some opportunity. That's what all this is about. Building the trust, opening up the doors, creating opportunity. Okay. So watch your tone. My mom used to tell me that when I was younger. Watch your tone. All right, but this is applicable here. Watch your tone with your clients because you want to make sure that they get the right vibe from you. Okay? This is real simple, guys. You're just calling them to speak to them about their compliance with their program. All right, G, are you there?
Yep.
Okay. So, G, what I want you to do just to close out this training, and I appreciate everybody training, but I want you to just to kind of give us, you know, give the team that secret sauce of verbiage that they need to put in their conversation piece as a compliance agent. Okay, give them that power piece that they can have as compliance agents when they're speaking with their clients.
You want me to give it today? All right. Mo's making me give it up today.
Oh, I thought that was the plan. I'm sorry. You want to wait?
I was gonna do it tomorrow, but since everyone's here, I can do it right now. I don't mind.
Okay. Well, okay. I thought it was today. We can wait till tomorrow, man.
I was gonna do it on the power hour. I was gonna break it up because I wanna. Well, I'll just tell you what I'm gonna talk about. Then
Okay.
that'll get
Oh
everyone on the
man.
power hour. How about that?
Yeah,
Well, you got to come to the power hour. You want it.
that
The
was yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday. So I was supposed to be on the day before, and then I had a dentist appointment. I was numb all day, pretty much, and we were supposed to be on today, or no, yesterday, and then we were supposed to be on today, but we had a meeting. So tomorrow I'm going to do it. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break down the entire program, how it works, all the inner workings. I'm gonna also explain, as Mo said, the compliance piece of this, why this is compliant and other programs are not, which is really important. And I'm going to basically, by the end of the power hour, everyone that's on there is going to have a complete, full understanding of this program, how it works. And some of that is relevant to the call, when you're calling people. And some of it is stuff that you might not want to share. But you're going to know everything about it. So if they have questions, you're going to have answers, and you're going to have an expertise at it. And I'm going to explain it in real simple layman's terms, not a bunch of industry jargon. And so if you're wondering how this program works and you want to fill in all the gaps, you're going to want to be on tomorrow's call. That's all. It's good stuff.
Yeah, man.
Anyone who's on tomorrow's call is going to have a leg up. I promise you.
Dun, dun, dun,
So,
dun.
and I'm doing it on the power hour. I have therapy, and believe me, you wouldn't like me when I'm mad. I have therapy tomorrow, so yeah, I'm a little crazy. You will, so I'm gonna do it on the power hour, like in between calls, and we'll break it up. But it's not gonna be long, you know. Maybe I probably could explain the whole thing in about 20 minutes. So make sure you're on tomorrow's power hour if you want to know. Yeah, what was that? 3:30 Eastern, right?
Yes, that's 3:30 Eastern. That's correct.
And I'll answer any questions you have about the information that I'm going to share. But by the time that call's over, everyone on that call is going to completely understand this program from front to back, exactly how it works, everything about it.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think that I think people are starting to get their mojo. I'm listening to the call.
Yeah.
I'm seeing I'm definitely seeing a difference, for sure. And I think that it's just a matter of, I think it's just a matter of perception here. G.
Mm-hmm.
People,
Yeah.
just looking at this grown. This is not a sales opportunity. You guys are compliance agents. You just get paid a lot of money. Think about it this way. Think about it this way. The how can I say it? It's so much of a compliance agent job, right? For you to do that most people that this job would probably pay. I don't know. It was just a salary. We looked at the numbers. If it was just straight salary position, you may be making, $70,000 to $80,000 a year. Okay, with a job like this, if it was just straight salary, all right, for the whole year. But you guys are getting paid a residual for doing the same thing. Think about that. This is huge. One client can pay you way more than $80,000 a year. Okay. So just look at what you have in front of you. Okay. That's all I got to keep saying. Look at what you have in front of us. Today we had a very powerful meeting, a training meeting, and just more clarity on, the things that we can do and the things that we can't do, and most of the stuff that we were, initially thinking that we cannot do for the clients we can. So, I mean, this program is just and like they said today in the meeting, it's getting better and better and better. They're steady enhancing it and making it better. Okay. They also said, I will share this too, that the insurance industry, some of the bigger players, this is why it's important that you guys make your footprint right now, that this is going mainstream to all of the insurance companies. So all the insurance agents and companies, this is going mainstream to them. It's not yet. So you're in the beginning phase of this before it goes mainstream. So all of your mainstream insurance company is going to have this product on as a add-on. So you guys really got a leg up on a lot of people. Okay, just keep that in mind. So this is not a sales job or anything like that. Your compliance agents know your stuff. Know about compliance. If you're not studying this, let me tell you this. If all you're doing is coming to these calls is great. But if you're not at home studying the stuff that we're giving you and really putting your nose to the book, okay, you're going to get left behind. This is a huge opportunity for you. We're literally studying this every day. If you're not doing all of that and you're doing everything else that you normally was doing and you're not putting any extra effort to being at the top of your game with this, you're going to get left behind. If you're coming to these calls and you're doing other things other than listening, you're cooking and at the stores and doing all this other stuff. I know you got a life to do, but if you're doing it all the time and you're not being able to retain and writing down notes then you're not getting it all the way. So these meetings, you should be at your desk, you should be at your computer, you should be taking notes, you should be focused on what's happening, and you should then be incorporating some type of study time outside of this so you can be a beast at this. We want to make sure that our team is a beast at this, okay? I don't like second place. It's first place or nothing for us. First place or nothing, or we don't do it. Okay? Siobhan, what's up?
Nothing. What's popping?
Oh, I thought you had your hand up.
Oh, yes, I did, but then I changed my mind. I put my hands back down. It was something that you stated.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what the statement you said. It was so basically, all in all, even though you're not physically with the person, because like I said, I like dealing with people in person. It's
You like
like you're
doing
reading
what?
the
I'm sorry.
room. So, I like dealing with like companies, like, ones in person rather than a phone. Although I know you stated if I do, see or meet business minded, like the BNI that I went to today.
You went to
I don't know
that?
if you heard about the outcome of what took place,
No, I
but
didn't hear about it. You want to
that's
tell
the
us
whole,
about it?
yeah, that's the whole, huh?
No, I didn't hear about it. What happened?
So I go to the meeting, and this was Georgia Bulldogs team, I guess, a team of BNI that's different agent businesses that's along with a lot of the college students and so forth. But come to find out, where I went to the meeting, it was canceled. It was to be at another location. So I got there before 11:30, and I got to the other location, which was at it was at a golf club, like a golf
Okay.
it was at, yeah. So I get there, and the meeting started, apparently it started at 7:30. So they changed the time from 11:30 to 7:30. Apparently it's been that time since June.
Okay.
So when I got to the golf club, basically the owner called me into his office. He's like, "Oh yeah, they do it every Wednesday, and they're here. They have breakfast in the mornings. And where are you from?" So I said, "I'm from G2 Global Network. How you doing?" And he brought me in, and he's the general manager of the golf. It's like a golf club. What do you call it? I don't know. It's like almost
Country
like a
club,
resort,
country
a
club,
country club.
country
There you
club.
go, a country club. There you go. Thank you, thank you. So we vibing, and I was just being myself, and I was like, so I'm a part of compliance team for G21 Global, and I just want to bring some information. But this would have been my first BNI meeting, but we were supposed to meet at Amici's. It was a pizzeria. And he's like, "Oh no, they stopped meeting there since June. They've been coming here to my club." He's like, "Yeah, I own all of this." Legs kicked up, and he chilling. So I was like, "Okay." He's like, "Have a seat. Tell me more about GT Global." So as I mentioned it to him, he was like, "You know what? This is something." Once he went to the website, he heard the introduction and what it's about. He was like, his eyes lit up. He was like, "Wow." And he was like, "And I hear your accent. Where are you from?" I'm like, "I'm from Brooklyn." He's like, "Well, I'm from Compton." He said he's from Compton, California.
Uh,
And he's like, "Listen, do you listen to hip hop?" I'm like, "Yeah." He was like, "What you think about Noriega? And what you think about Capone?" He started naming all types
good,
of big pun.
good.
So, it's like I felt like I
Icebreaker.
was. Yes, that was the icebreaker. So I was like, "Wow, that's dope." He's like, "You know what? Being that I have a payroll team, I have my HR, I'm gonna forward this to them." His face just like, this is something that I was like, "Yeah, you get $650 a year." I broke it down, the way that Malik said to or whatever, but in my own way, because he texted me something for me to read from my phone. I'm not gonna read from my phone. I'm gonna, break it down and make it sound. I was like, "Do you mind if I read from?" I asked him. Well, I said, "I'm kind of sort of new to the company as well, so I'm learning day by day." He was like, "Yeah, absolutely, you're gonna learn, but sure." He was like, "Sure, read from your phone. I don't care," because he wanted to, the full detail.
Good,
So
good.
I was just saying, basically, what you were stating as
Mhm.
far as being yourself, and is like, don't make it sound like it's a sales. Because what I said to him, I was like, "Listen, I'm not selling you anything. I'm just here to give you information."
And see what I'm
Okay.
saying? So that worked. See, you know what I mean? You didn't have
Yeah.
you didn't have to be salesy. you wasn't talking to him in the conversation of a salesperson. You were in his
Right.
presence having a regular conversation like we're doing right now. This is your presentation right now, Siobhan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'm telling you, it was regular.
Yeah.
Like this guy was just talking about hip hop, and then he started talking about how what brought him to owning, running that country club and how it came about. And he got 65 employers, and he was like, every year it changes because it depends on them ones that have the membership to the golf club.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yes, I'll be happy to share this. And he's like, come back here Wednesday. He said, come back. If you could be here 7:30 next Wednesday, come back to my office and I'll give you an update or whatever. Cause I was asking him for his card and so forth. And he was like, no, just come back on Wednesday. Cause, he was feeling involved for me to be, deal with him in person and things like that. I
Right.
was like, okay, I'll be here next Wednesday.
Nice.
And at that
Perfect.
point, I should hear something or whatever.
Good. See? Perfect. Just need one good deal. That's it. One good deal can change your trajectory. Okay. And that's what I want everybody to realize. I got a call in today to set an appointment with us, and I actually turned the call down at first because I felt it was out of our reach. It was for a union with one of the heads of the union, and they got like 2 million employees across the country. And I felt it was just too big of a thing. But I called them back, and we're back on. So next week or so, we'll set some appointments, and that should go on the board. But these companies. I was in the meeting with one of the deals that we got on the table right now, and these people are literally looking for this type of program. Okay, right now, they're looking for it. Okay, so let that be encouraging for you all. These people they're looking for this. You're not going to get too much resistance.
Oh,
Only
and peep game. I'm sorry to cut you off, Mo.
Mhm.
Peep what he said. He said he's never seen anything like this before.
Yeah. Oh, I was on the
He
phone
said
today.
he
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
nah, you go ahead.
Yeah, I was on the phone today with one of the people that's setting up this thing with Wawa, and they're like, Mo, we've been in this space for years, and we've never seen anything like this. Okay, never seen anything like it. So people are excited about it. They're calling us. Matter of fact, they called Wawa called to make sure that our meeting was going to happen. All right. So let that be some encouragement for you. You all, we're in the right space at the right time. Okay. Keep learning this and be on the power hour tomorrow so G can share some a good nugget with everybody. And I think it's going to change how you view everything. Okay.
If you're not on tomorrow's call, I'll kill you. Literally, murder.
Hey guys, he will do it. Trust me. We got 3 people that's missing from the call right now, and I don't know what happened.
There you go. Wait, is this being recorded? Never mind. Just
Oh,
joking.
it's being recorded, G.
Just kidding.
So, yeah, it's build a call tomorrow, guys. We're doing everything possible to keep making sure that we got everything that you need, from the training to the information that we're getting from the Maze Health, and all of this stuff, just to make sure everybody is successful at this. And we're working through all the little bitty kinks that we're going to work through in the beginning. Please remember that we are going through the scheduling, working those take things out, all those little kinks, nothing with the program, but just the process and how we're going to do this with the compliance team. And because people are calling now, we're starting to get a lot of traction now. Okay, people are calling about this. You guys are setting appointments. I think we've got some meetings tomorrow. I've got some. I mean, they're liking this program. So get excited, you all. Get excited. Let's make them calls. And I appreciate everybody's effort. Everybody's been putting forth effort, dialing out, and staying in the trenches. Just change your mindset about your calls, and be relaxed on those calls and have a conversation with them. That's it. Do not sound like a salesperson when you call. Okay. And that's the nature of our power hour. So you guys can hear, we can talk and we can hear the different calls and like, hey, hey, G, I got a question for you. When I barge in, if I can barge in on a call, will the client hear me speaking to the rep?
Yes. Yep. If you barge.
Yes, they will.
Okay.
Yeah. If you barge a call, then yes, they will.
Okay.
I don't know. I might have to set up barging in a setting. I'll look into that if you haven't been able to do it.
I want to be able to barge a call and say, hey, Eva, slow down, or hey, Monica, ask this question.
Yeah, but if you do that, then the customer's gonna hear you too. You're barging in.
That's what I'm asking. Is that possible where they won't hear me and I'm just speaking to the rep?
Well, yeah, I mean, if we're doing on Power Hour on Zoom, and I'll talk about this tomorrow on how you can set up your Zoom to where you can hear the client and you can hear us, like Mo or whatever, but the client can't hear Mo.
Or how about an instant message, instead of a barge?
Of course.
When I was in the call
A
center,
bar-
they used to do that.
A barge is for like, hey, let me get my manager in here, and then he can barge the call, right? So that's what that is. You can monitor the call while it's happening, Mo, and then you can barge in. But once you barge in, you're basically saying like, "Hey, I'm here. Hi, yeah."
Yeah. All right, cool.
Yep.
Okay, you all, that's my training for today. Sorry about the technical issues today. But we made it through it, and I will see you all on tomorrow's training. I'll see you there. And I think that's it for today. And I'll see you guys for the power hour on tomorrow. Okay. Keep up the good work. Remember, wings up, stay focused. And we're number one. We're not number two. Wings up. Guys.
Awesome call, Mo.
Thank you, man.
Peace.